If you feel work is too slow, our kind girlfriend gave her a big hammer. Everyone doubts her IQ, but only Davis knows. She is not bustling about for work, but rather attempting to release the pent-up pressure in her heart. However, after venting her emotions, she is once again engulfed by even deeper confusion. Then she has to spend more money to return to the demolition site, trying to escape the numbness, only to step on a nail and feel the pain like a hammer to the heart. Oh goddamn that F*** King Heart, woo. While Tonton yanked her back to reality, but also meant she lost her chance to demolish, that night Karen bravely walked into Davis' house. On the day of demolition, her fingers were in demolition that day. Missing her chance to demolish, that night Karen gathered her courage and complimented Davis' place. It's the dream home for many, but Davis thinks it's all fluff. Then they head to Karen's home together. Looking at the empty house, she wondered if that boyfriend was dismantled by Karen and stuffed into the sock cabinet. Karen joked that there's no separate sock cabinet, their underwear and socks share one. Davis was somewhat surprised. In his view, women's underwear deserves its own cabinet. They lie together in a room, Karen opening up to Davis. Actually, she doesn't really love her current boyfriend, though he loves her deeply. She dares not say so and in Davis' honesty. Seeing this, Davis pulled Karen into a makeshift space made of sofas and began a sincere conversation, sharing his story. As a child, he always wanted to stay ahead of his peers but was always left behind, yet he never gave up, still aiming to outpace them. Davis' words brought Karen some direction, and she was served a cabinet just for her underwear. The next morning, he met Karen's rebellious son, Chris, who often had swear words on his lips. Trying to prove he's tough, Davis didn't stop him but simply told him swearing is cool, though too much makes it cheap. That day, Davis followed Karen to a cannabis spot where he discovered a carousel, and excitingly, the boss wanted to smash it. This was exactly what he loved to do. So, he took on the task, but as he stepped into the carousel, memories of his wife flooded back. Then he and Karen went to the beach, reminiscing about his wife. Karen asked if he misses her. Davis himself wasn't sure. Memories of his wife would always pop into his head unexpectedly. One day, showering at Karen's, he suddenly saw his wife's reflection in the mirror. Suffocation struck again. He couldn't hold back his tears. He felt sick, so he went to the hospital, rambling about how he felt numb all over, and that this had been going on for 10 years. The doctor examined him and found something had gnawed a piece of his heart. Of course, it was all Davis' fancy. His strange behavior recently made his father-in-law halt the project. The father-in-law curiously asked Davis why he was doing this. He answered with a metaphor, like a wall-mounted stone clock, its handmade craft invited dismantling, scattering parts everywhere, just to peek at the inner workings. However, that clock was left by his wife's mother, so the father-in-law had to pressure Davis. When Davis got home, suddenly he heard rock music from Karen's house. He saw Chris dancing wildly as he approached, and Davis left him be. Instead, he quietly turned and left. After a while, Chris finally stepped out, and He asked Chris why he didn't go to school, and Chris told him that he got kicked out for telling the truth about the American military. As a result, he got expelled. One regular afternoon, he accidentally discovered that Chris played the drums quite well. That rhythmic thudding seemed to revive his dormant body. Every single beat struck by Chris made his body sway involuntarily, and he became utterly absorbed in it. Davis fell in love with the madness, asking Chris to make him a copy. After getting off the subway, he always put on his headphones. He cranked the volume to the max, immersing himself in his own world. Davis seemed to find another way to release, dancing wildly on the street. Not giving a thought to anyone's gaze, Davis arrived at the office. In the conference room, his father-in-law used his daughter's compensation insurance money to establish a foundation in her name. Now he's interviewing students who need funding. This was supposed to be Davis' task, but he kept dropping the ball. Subtitle: he frequently interrupted the students' trains of thought, and his disdainful and lackadaisical demeanor made his father-in-law utterly intolerable. Today, we need to finalize the last item. Subtitles tomorrow. I plan to sign it on my desk. Have you finished? We're done. Davis stared at the docs, unable to sign, memories of his wife lingering in his mind. The sofa and the shelves that could be seen everywhere were his wife's most loved items, and the familiar yet suffocating feeling surged over him again. In order to dispel those memories, he and Chris headed to a hardware store to purchase tools, getting ready to completely smash the villa to bits. Everything here was connected to his wife, and Davis felt it was like a tumor. If he didn't cut it out, he'd keep suffocating. During the break, Chris gazed at the sorrowful Davis and manually assisted him in putting on a smile. The next day, he ordered a moving truck online to flatten the house, but the quality of online purchases always seems to be sketchy. After just a couple of tries, the truck broke down, so Davis continued manually demolishing the second floor. In the bedroom, he swung the hammer at his wife's dresser. To his surprise, after striking it, he found last year's medical report from his wife, leaving him completely puzzled. Because his wife had never mentioned being pregnant, Davis just wanted to find his in-laws and figure out what was going on. The afternoon sun blared into his eyes, so he pulled down the sun visor to find a note from his wife, but he didn't have the heart to read it. At that moment, his mind was filled with thoughts of his wife's pregnancy. Upon arriving at his father-in-law's, he unexpectedly found her memorial service and in his panic, disregarded his in-laws.